All right, hello students. Welcome to my third Photoshop video, and this is for the Unit 4 color scheme designs. Let's open up Adobe Photoshop, and as I did last time, I'm going to open up my Unit 4 design that I was working on, and just kind of walk you through how I did this piece. I think overall the demos that I've done for this class, I think this was probably one of my favorites, because instead of trying to think of specific images, it was more about the design of it, which is kind of fun. I remember that the first goal was to choose a color scheme. So this whole unit is about color and how color works for your designs. So what I did was I identified a color scheme that I really enjoy, which is mostly cool colors. So I did an analogous color scheme, which is colors next to each other on the color wheel. And I chose the mostly green through purple. Which of those are my favorite colors. I can't really pick a favorite color. I don't know. I like a lot of different ones. But so what I tried to do was I started with two of each color, the purple, blue, and green. And I tried to pick an object that was that color. So emerald is one of my favorites. So I choose, emerald colored glass, trees. And then for turquoise, I put, an actual turquoise stone, a turquoise painted wall, and I tried to identify different textures for each item that I was putting in my collage, which I felt like the different textures really helped kind of add to the variety of the piece. So those are my suggestions, is to first identify your color number one, and maybe try to choose a couple for each color and really try to change up your textures for the piece. Now what I did is I just went on Google and I found all of these images on Google, and that's totally fine. And that was actually the hardest part, was to just find the images. And then what I did was I just put the images together and I erased. So we've already went over how to erase. We've already gone over how to hold down layers and rearrange them so that they're on top of each other. The one thing that we didn't really talk about was how to make a layer transparent so you can see what's underneath. So sometimes it's kind of hard to erase things when you can't see the layer underneath. You're trying to erase something specific. So I'm going to show you a really quick tip on how to do that. So the perfect option was this yellow piece right here in the middle. It was actually a chartreuse, which is a shade of green. So fun fact for you. But anyway, what I wanted to do was I really wanted to see like the aluminum foil underneath to see how much of that yellow I could remove. So what I did was the aluminum foil, the purple aluminum foil photo, I actually tapped on the settings. And what I did was I lowered the opacity for the aluminum foil and the opacity for the yellow. Now what that does is if I lower the opacity, now I can see what's underneath that layer. And so I can also tap on that layer and remove it completely temporarily by hitting the little eyeball. And so I can see what's going on. So you can see I've got a lot of layering going on underneath that yellow. And so what I did was every time I added a layer, I lowered the opacity of that layer to see what was underneath. And then I used the eraser tool and I, adjusted the eraser tool depending on what I was trying to do. And I tried to use the eraser tool around those layers. And then by making it transparent, I was able to see how far I could erase so that I wouldn't get any white space underneath. So your goal is to utilize, whoops, I accidentally erased. So your goal is to, utilize those different colors and textures and try to make almost like an abstract piece where you can layer them together and erase specific parts so that they layer really effectively, which is kind of challenging. So you're kind of just starting to master your Photoshop skills at this point. There's not really any specific demos to cover that we haven't gone over yet. I actually didn't adjust the colors of any of these items. All it was layering and erasing and then using that opacity to see what was underneath. So I'm challenging you on this one just to kind of hone in on those skills and kind of build on the skills you've already learned, and create something a little out of your comfort zone, hopefully. So enjoy, and again, reach out if you have any questions or